Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Coleman. I'm with the Delaware Office of Highway Safety. I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming out here tonight, and also to thank our participants who are attending virtually online. Thank you for taking the time to join us tonight and share your concerns and ideas to improve traffic safety on our roadways. I also want to thank the Modern Maturity Center for hosting the event tonight, and Mike Cordry and his team from Aloysius Butler and Clark, otherwise known as AB&C for short. They are our marketing agency that we partner with, and they help organize and coordinate these town hall event sessions. The Office of Highway Safety has worked with AB&C for many years, and they play a vital role in developing our paid media creative and communication plans for our public relations outreach and education campaigns. So tonight I want to begin by walking through the agenda and set some of the expectations that we expect from tonight's meeting. Tonight we're going to cover who is the Delaware Office of Highway Safety and the role that we play in traffic safety. We're going to dive into the purpose of this open forum town hall and present to you some key topics and some challenges in our traffic safety priority areas, a couple of those that we are seeing on our roadways today. Then we are going to break out into groups for breakout sessions where you'll be able to share your concerns and further issues that you have for the topics that we'll be discussing. Then we'll kind of reconvene after the breakout sessions, and we're going to kind of do a highlight of some of the comments and things that we learned from our breakout sessions. After the breakout sessions are done, we will ask that you fill out a brief survey. This is a time where you may not have been able to share everything you wanted to throughout the breakout sessions. So this will be the opportunity for you to add some additional concerns and help us with our initiatives going forward in the future. So with that being said, I'd like to turn it over to Sharon Bryson, who is the Director of the Office of Highway Safety.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us on this just kind of abysmal weather that we have out here. We're really happy to see so many folks out to provide their input and to give us their feedback. I will tell you, I started my day out this morning with a flat tire in the rain with my dog in the car. So it has been just a wonderful day for me so far, but it did get better, and I was actually able to be here. So I want to talk just a little bit about who is the Delaware Office of Highway Safety. This gives you a definition of it. The office is committed to improving safety on our roadways here in Delaware through administration of federal highway safety funds and development and implementation of highway safety programs. All of that to say that we're looking to promote safe behaviors by all roadway users to reduce and eliminate injuries and fatalities. Everyone knows that the trend for fatals is climbing in the wrong direction. We're still below where we were this time last year, but the trend doesn't look good. And if we don't do something, we will end up where we were last year, which is, in my opinion, unacceptable. I think everyone has the right to travel here, travel to work, travel to wherever they're going, and to be able to go home safely to their families. And that includes pedestrians, vulnerable roadway users. There was just a fatal in Wilmington a couple of days ago of a 3-year-old child being run over. Even with all the technology we have on new cars these days, the young boy, I believe, was run over by a vehicle and killed. So we have to think safety when we're talking about anything with regard to our roadways. So we'd like to hear your thoughts about ways that we can change behaviors and improve with the goal of reducing crashes, reducing fatals, certainly. The next slide will show you a little bit of some of the campaigns that the office has done. I will just tell you that I've been there since June, so I can't take credit for much of this. I am a native Delawarean. I've lived in Delaware my entire life, but for 24 years, I commuted to DC, where I retired from being the managing director for the National Transportation Safety Board. So we investigated all modes of transportation, but certainly highway was something that was always near and dear. So for me to be able to use any expertise that I have to make roadways in Delaware safer is wonderful in that regard. But these are some of the campaigns that you may have seen out there, and they go across a whole range of topic areas. Okay, so in our forum, the purpose of our forum is to listen. We want to learn. We invite people to speak up, although I was hanging around as you all were coming in. I don't think we're going to have to invite too much of speaking up with this particular crowd. We were in Georgetown last week, I guess it was, right? And we had to kind of get people warmed up a little bit down in Georgetown to begin speaking. So I'm not sure that's going to be a challenge for us here today. So we want to listen. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to hear good ideas. Many things have been tried, and certainly we can continue to do those. But if you continue to do the same thing and the trend is still going in the wrong direction, it's probably time to see if we can get some additional thoughts and ideas with regard to that. So again, Secretary McQueen, who is the Secretary of Safety and Homeland Security and my boss, is very supportive of the town hall meetings and interested in finding out what we can glean from the communities that we serve. Again, as I said, the fatals in Delaware are historically high. And I have to say that nationally, there's a trend going in that direction. So it's not just Delaware, but because it's Delaware, to me, it's unacceptable. We have to think about ways to fix it here. We want to better engage with underserved communities that are overrepresented in crash data. So we need to go out to those communities and find out, why is it happening? Do you have ideas about how it's happening? And more importantly, do you have ideas on things we might do, how we engage, how we communicate, how we put the message out with regard to safety when it comes to traffic and our roadways? So again, our goal today is to engage with you to determine how we can better meet population needs and shape program efforts and education campaigns. And again, our ultimate goal, which hopefully we can do collectively, is to eliminate roadway fatalities and injuries. Wouldn't it be great for us to get to zero in this state? It almost feels like it's unattainable, but certainly a goal of zero is where we should be. Reaching zero is where we should be trying to get to. So I'm going to introduce to you our Deputy Director, Richard, who knows these statistics probably like the back of his hand, and is going to talk to you about the two specific areas that we want to focus on today here. And we want to do that because of the data. You'll see a heat map here that gives us data on why we think those issues are important to this particular location. So, but that doesn't mean we don't want to talk about all issues, but specifically there is some data that shows us that there are a couple of issues that we really need to focus on. So Richard, I will move my slides here and give you the podium.
Sure. Thank you. And again, thank you to everybody who came out today. We appreciate you coming out at 6 o'clock. So as Sharon mentioned, we do have a couple priority areas that we want to share and discuss with you today. The first is really kind of a brand new program for us. We have over the last year really been trying to start up and engage in a senior driver program, specifically with drivers age 65 plus. So we have some stats here. One of the big keys for us is just to note that the state of Delaware, we are seeing rapid increases of the population for those age 65 plus. So specifically in Kent County, the population is projected to increase by 18% by 2030 and 27% by 2040. And 65 plus, from what we see from the data shared by the Delaware Population Consortium, is that 65 plus is really the largest demographic that we're going to see expand in the state of Delaware over the next 10 to 20 years. Crashes involving senior drivers in Kent County reached a 5-year high in 2022 with 828 crashes, and that is up 20% from 2021. Most of the crashes involving seniors take place between 10 a.m. And 5 p.m., but they tend to spike around the 3 p.m. hour. Senior-related crashes occur most frequently during the week than on the weekend, and average weekday crashes are more than double the Sunday average. So really kind of pointing to those weekday time periods. And individuals aged 65 and older account for approximately 25% of our traffic fatalities within the state. This number has been growing significantly over the last 10 years. Traditionally, this age group was around 10 to 15%, but we're, a quarter of traffic fatalities being 65 plus is really kind of an eye opener for us, and why we need to specifically, reach out to the communities and find better ways to engage. And we also have a map up here as well, noting injury and fatality crashes involving individuals age 65 plus in the state of Delaware. So are specifically in Kent County. So if you haven't had a chance to look at this yet, please do so. One of the points that we don't have on this slide, but we have noted is specifically with fatality crashes, a lot of them are intersection related. And we note that a lot of times we've seen drivers who stop at stop signs and are either unable to judge the full speed of cars coming at them, or are just misjudging something and pulling out in front of a car that has the right of way. So that's one area we may talk about tonight, and better ways to market that. And the second one that we want to discuss tonight, again, once we get into the breakout sessions, we'll talk more broadly, but really focusing on speed as well. I think, anecdotally, everybody has noticed an increase in speed on Delaware roadways, especially over the last year or two. So we're doing speed at every town hall we do, but the senior driver one is specific for tonight. So traditionally, speed has been a factor in approximately 1/3 of fatal crashes within the state, but we are noting significant increases over the last 2 years. With this year, our preliminary data shows it being nearly half. Speed-related fatal crashes occur most often between 8 p.m. and 2 a.m., and this is often combined with things like impairment, individuals not wearing their seatbelt, running off the roadway. So while speed is a factor, there are a lot of contributing circumstances that combine to create a fatal crash situation.
Is this all related to seniors?
No, this is general speed. Yeah, sorry, this is general speed for all drivers, yes. Third, 57% of speed-related fatal crashes occur between Friday and Sunday. Again, this kind of ties together with impairment. We do see these types of crashes increase during the summer months. And most of our speed-related crashes occur on roadways with 45 or 50 mile an hour speed limits. So it's not just, somebody's going a little faster on the 25. We're seeing excessive speeding on roadways that are already designed to be for higher speeds. So we'll kind of move in and just share a little bit more in depth on a couple programs that we have within aging drivers and speed. Again, with this category, we are fairly new to this. I think we've had this up and running for less than a year now. So most of what we've done has been some presence at special events, social media postings, and some of the materials that you see on this slide. And then again, with speed, again, community outreach, being at events. We do a lot more marketing and advertising, presence at special events. We provide funding to law enforcement to do overtime to specifically enforce our speeding issues within the state. And I think that's about it. So we're gonna have A, B, and C come up and kind of discuss our goals with the breakout sessions, and really want to spend a majority of the time doing these and getting your feedback. So if you have any questions as you're going along, feel free to reach come over to me. Yes.
Do you have any information about run off the road fatalities where no other vehicles involved, what the percentage is?
I don't have that off the top of my head. I don't want to speculate, but I think the last time we looked, it was around a quarter of our traffic fatalities were run off the roadway.
All right, so now we're gonna break up into three groups. Myself, Mike, Justin, and Chris are gonna lead the groups. We're gonna do one outside the room and then two inside the room. We have brief discussion items. We're gonna go through it. You know, we have an opportunity to talk about the topic. So now that's no.
Okay, that's all right.
So
We're not allowed to speak. We're gonna speak in groups right now, and then, you know, that'll really be the chance to get everything in our taking notice.
I got three.
All right, should we do that six? So the group over here is okay, I'm just gonna kind of stay in this corner, if that's fine. We'll have, the six of you are gonna head out into the hall, if that's all right. And then if we can have this group just kind of move up here, we're gonna put in Right. Thank you, everybody. All right. Hi, everybody. If we could just have your attention real quickly. Excuse me, everybody in the back, if you don't mind. So listen, thank you, everybody, again for joining us and for dedicating your time. We know how valuable it is. The insights we received today are really important. We're definitely going to put them into practice. So we thank you for that. We wanted to just quickly run through for a couple minutes some of the things that we heard today. And then what we're going to do at the end is we are going to have a survey for you to fill out. We have QR codes on the walls. There's going to be one up on the screen. So what you can do with that on your phone, you just pick it up as a picture. It'll give you the link. You click it. It takes you right to it electronically. We also have hard copies at the back of the room. So we've got pens there. And for our online audience, you will get a QR code right at the end on the last slide. So we really ask that you take some time, and it won't take long at all, but it's another chance to share anything that you didn't share with us if you didn't feel comfortable sharing. And, we're looking to get just a little bit more. So do you have a couple you want to share?
Yeah, so, I really enjoyed my group. Thanks for coming out. A couple of the feedback I wanted to share was particularly around the issue with the seniors. We actually had some, one of the gentlemen talked about he lives in Florida half the year and they have a large senior population. So looking at best practices, see what Florida's doing. We had an idea, came up with the tagline, "Don't wait the 8, for your license renewal instead of, if you have a senior, instead of waiting the full 8 years, go back and, do your driver's check, before that. It's a way for family members to potentially sort of have that talk with an aging family member. We had the gentleman from the AARP driver safety course talking about opportunities to get in front of steering people towards the driver safety courses, things like that. And then, of course, everybody gave us a lot of recommendations around different areas. We had the mayor of Frederica here, who gave us some good ideas of where to reach his citizens. And what else we got? For speed, that was a little trickier. I mean, it's a lot of talk about the signs that you can put up, solar powered signs that show how fast you go, yard signs, things like that. But I think one of the most interesting ones was, we talk about that in Delaware, 93% of people wear their seatbelts, and we had a conversation about, kids in the back seat telling mom or dad, put your seatbelt on. And so getting in there earlier, particularly around that speed message, talking to kids, about kind of monitoring, the education communication starting as early as possible with that message, to sort of have that same reaction for a kid if they, telling their parents to wear their seatbelt, tell them to slow down and things like that. So there's an opportunity there. And then, just a long list. We had a group online, and I got an email from our colleague who's working with that group. And those of you online, we got, a lot of great information about different areas to partner. And all very useful. And you have a couple updates?
Yeah, jump in a couple more.
Yeah.
So I think a couple of the things we heard from places we can go, social media, for all ages still seems to be valuable, whether it's Facebook or beyond. Billboards is something that's always talked about. Some of the local media, we've heard WBOC mentioned a couple of times. Some of the casinos, some really good ideas for partnerships, whether it's through AARP or some of the driving schools. And, we heard that a lot. Driver education is really key, trying to get those messages out there. From a messaging standpoint, interesting personal experiences and really kind of letting people understand, putting them in the shoes of somebody who may have suffered a tragedy because of an accident, something like that, really making people aware of how their actions can, reverberate and lead to other things down the road. Obviously talk around enforcement periods and really trying to drive that home. Parents, it's another one we heard, actually involving them a little bit too. There's more topics we touched on a little bit with new marijuana laws coming into play, from a DUID standpoint, how do we take advantage of that? And then, we also heard too, the driver test from that standpoint, not waiting, trying to do it, every 3 years or something more that we can do there. Some other places we talked about air shows or churches, high school football games, things like that, really trying to be out there even more. So, it was a really good mix and we really heard some great ideas from everybody. So we thank you for that. I think at this point, if we want to put up the QR code. So you'll see here, if you have your phones and you want to do it electronically, you just pull it up to take a picture and it'll take you right to the link. At the back of our room, we have surveys that are actually printed on paper. You can use your pens to, we've got plenty of pens out there to fill it out. We really do want to take advantage of as much feedback as we can. Our online audience, same thing, please. Take a couple minutes to fill that out for us. And then I think what we'll say is, after you finish, if there's any other questions or there's something that, folks still want to talk about, we're still going to be here. We're willing to take and listen to anything for a couple of minutes. So please, by all means, share. And, thank you again for your participation. It's really, really helpful.
And the last thing I just don't want to forget is to sort of keep up with what the Delaware Office of Highway Safety has going on with their programs and new initiatives. ArriveAliveDE.com is the website that outlines all of the programs and new initiatives, as well as some of the data that we reviewed today.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We really appreciate it. Got survey back here. If you wanted to stay, fill them out. You got any errors or payments?